Hi guys, and welcome to today's task. For today's task, I'm going to show you how to install a door handle. This seems like a simple project, and it really is, but there's a few tips and tricks that I like to do just to make it a better and more smooth install, because if a door doesn't function properly, you're going to hate it every time you open and close it. The tools that you will need for this project are the door handle itself, a Phillips head screwdriver. I like to use my drill, and I really encourage you to use a drill with a smaller bit than the screws that you're going to be putting in for a pre-drill kind of setup. It really makes the door go a lot smoother, and it prevents the door from splitting if you don't. Because this is a bathroom that we are putting this door handle on, I have purchased a lockable handle because nobody wants to be interrupted while they're in the bathroom. That's the worst, and most parents understand that that's the only place you can go to get away from your children. Some kids know how to pick this lock and they will get in either way, but it's your safe haven if you have children. So get a lockable handle for a bathroom. Next step is to identify which way your latch pin is going to go. This strike pin has to hit the wall and door jamb and then be allowed in and then shoot back so that it closes. That's how a door works. So I know the door is going to swing and close this way. So I want to make sure my latch pin is facing that way as well. I set it in place and I don't touch it from then on. I know some people might say to just drill it in and call it good, lock it down, we're done on that part. But it goes back to that simple principle that I feel is so important when it comes to building anything, is put stuff in loosely in place, make sure it all fits in properly, put all the nuts and bolts in, and then tighten them down. They go in a lot better, it'll be a lot better product from then on out. The cool part about most door handles is depending on how thick of a jamb you have here, how far over the handles need to be, they can be adjusted for that. And this has 1 and 2 locations for it to function and actually move the door handle back and forth. There's that location, and then if we needed to have the longer one, which we don't, you could put it into this one and the system would work just the same. But since ours is the shorter distance, we put it in this one. And we're gonna do that from this side because you do not want to lock yourself out of the bathroom. And then the lockable side goes inside the bathroom. And also, if you're not doing a lockable one, the side that has the screws, I always put that inside the bedroom. I figure the person inside the bedroom doesn't care if they see the screw heads. So now we just loosely fit this on. You kind of have to move it around a little bit until it locks on. And then you bring your screw heads till they're in alignment. I don't know who really designed the door handle system, but it's really nice that the screws get hidden in here, but it is almost impossible to get them to line up with a screwdriver. So you have to set them in first, get them started loosely with your fingers, which isn't a bad practice because that means the screw's in properly if it'll go in just with your fingers, and it's gonna go in straight from then on out. So it's not the worst practice, but it is a bear cat. It shouldn't be too hard to turn them. If it is, you're either stripping it or you're not quite in the hole where it's supposed to be. So I like to finger tighten them in as far as I can. It takes a minute, but there's not a great angle to work around this door handle because it's in the way. And some brands of door handles will let you remove them. This one doesn't. The next step is to screw these all the way down. And I know I mentioned using my drill, and on the ones that I can remove, I will use my drill for. But since this one doesn't let me get into that screw at a great angle, I like to use a plain screwdriver with as long of a shaft as it can because that makes it get in the farthest that it can. So I have these really fancy ones that I use for electrical work, but they're perfect for this. So you just put it on, whoop, put it in place, and just lightly turn it and go. And that kind of works like a little hand drill, and I love it. Once they're tight, give it a check, see how things flow. And sometimes if those were seated down really tight, that wouldn't flow that well. So this is a great time now to go back and screw those in. And a real pro tip, I say pro tip, I'm not a pro, but I say a pro tip, is to move delicately with this. You're dealing with a door that is a finished product. So any scuff marks or chip marks you make, you gotta go back and touch those up. So the fewer we can make of those, the better. So be delicate with finish work. Now we're gonna take my pilot drill and just make small starts at the center of those. just a little bit. This does two things. It makes my screw go exactly where I want it to go, and two, it'll keep the door from splitting. Sometimes you'll see a split along the top or the bottom of a door jamb. That's because they didn't pre-drill and they just screwed it in, and it separates it, and it makes those screws really, really weak. And when it's only a small 3/4 inch screw to begin with, it's already weak. So we want to make it as strong as possible, so pre-drill is the way to go. And I know I could drill that screw in a lot farther and harder home than I want to, but sometimes as hard as it can be is not the right way, just delicate. There we go. That moves fluidly. These are tight and solid. It's not in the way. We should be good to test our shut. This is our striker plate that curves and allows that pin to come into and latch, but I like to see how it shuts without it beforehand, to see if I need to keep this further back or further forward, depending on the door. This one looks like right touching is where it needs to be. I'm gonna set my striker plate just a little bit in place loosely and kind of look at it. And I know there's a gap right here, but I don't care. I'm looking at the overall purpose of the door is to shut fluid and feel nice. And some people will just shove it back to the back because it fills the gap the best and it doesn't leave any gaps here. But sometimes that doesn't take care of the purpose of the door. There may not be enough room for that latch pin and the door jamb here to fit your door. So that's why I tested it, and all the way to the front is gonna be the best spot. So I set it there, and I can actually see that it's not sitting flush here, and I want it to. And that's because there's a little bit of extra caulking that I wanna just kind of get rid of, just to clean it up. Anything I can do to make this as smooth as possible. And that little bit of detail right there can make all the difference with the door. So I set it in, bring it forward to where I wanted it. That feels good. And now I'll pre-drill once again. Don't mind the countertops in the back. They are in the house. And if you want to check out the video, you're gonna have to wait and watch for Bonnie's channel, because that's where we're gonna do a big debut on them. I will do a debut, but not until we show them on hers first. So once again, I'm driving these screws in, just keeping them kind of loose. Not loose, they're not gonna come undone, but I am not cinching down these as tight as they possibly can go. It's just not worth it, and they will strip. Nice and snug. And look, even with a pre-drill, there's a small hairline crack in the paint that I can see there that just happened. So if you don't pre-drill, you're gonna have even bigger ones all the way down. That is a nice shut. It's smooth. I don't have to force it. Sometimes they don't go that simple, and they're a little bit of a bear cat. I had one upstairs that I had to fumble with just a little bit. That's just one of the things you gotta do. But like anything with the doors and finished product, take your time, use small motions and small amounts of power. If you just grab hold and just use all the force you've got, you're going to break, ruin, or chip out something that you don't want to. So just temperance, I guess. A little bit of finesse goes a long way when it comes to doing finished work, and keep that in mind. If you guys like today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And if you are interested in any of the tools that I used in today's video, I will link them in the description down below. Also, I will link a today's task hat information if you're wanting to purchase one for yourself. Now, a lot of people are starting to wear these. I mean, I think they are the latest spring fashion of 2021, so you might want to grab yours while you still can. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. I swear I just had that down here. Where did I put that dang knife? Right, I don't have my tools. Tools really encourage you to use a drill with a tap bit. Sorry, that's not a tap bit. This has to, but it goes back to that. Do I have stuff all over my hands? No, okay. Almost lost that door handle. I don't know who invented door handles. That's a dumb statement. Next step is to just tighten these down. I know I mentioned, sorry. We're gonna take our tap drill, or okay, my next tip. Now we're gonna take my pilot hold. I know some people, so I'm gonna kind of set my there may not be enough room for that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Whew. I could do that all day. We have countertops!